Hey friend, this is episode number 577 of the And So podcast with Taylor Bradford. Let's get to it. Boss Girl Creative presents And So with Taylor Bradford, business and life musings from a successful serial entrepreneur. Each week, you will hear Taylor spill the tea on all things business, life, relationships, health, and everything in between. But don't worry, each week also includes a business nugget that will help you stay on course. And now a throwback to 3-year-old Taylor who inspired all of this.
And so.
Hello, welcome to episode 577. I'm your host, Taylor Bradford. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm in this freaking hard season of life. And I want to celebrate, right now, we're going to do that right now. Celebrate with me. Tomorrow is officially 11 years of this podcast as of this recording. That's crazy. 11 years of podcasting. Basically sitting in the same closet for the last 11 years. Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful for you, my listeners. Thank you. So anyways, I'm in a season of hard, and I want to celebrate the fact that I've done this for 11 years, but I just I don't even know. I'm in a period of hard, and we're going to talk about that today within the business nugget. Let's start with what's been going on in my world. In the garden, I'm literally in the weeds. We've had so much rain that the weeds are growing taller than my plants. And the last few days, we've had wicked weather as far as wind is concerned. And I've lost the tops of some of my squash plants, which has been kind of devastating. Anyways, I am still harvesting in abundance. Even though these things are happening, I spotted my first 2 Mongolian mammoth sunflowers. They started to open up, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how big their faces actually get. So that's fun because first time growing those. Okay, moving on into books. I finished The Party Line by Carolyn Brown. I give that one 5 stars. I'm going to start giving you little snippets in case this is something that you want to read. So if it's a book that's 4 stars or 5 stars for me, I'm going to just read you a little snippet from Goodreads about that particular book in case you want to read it yourself. So this one is A Niece's Inheritance, comes with family secrets, new romance, and sweet Texas strawberries in a refreshing and warm-hearted novel by New York Times bestselling author Carolyn Brown. Returning home to Ditto, Texas is bittersweet for Lila Matthews. Her dear and feisty Aunt Gracie has passed away, leaving Lila her estate. That includes a centuries-old house, a field of the freshest strawberries in Itasca County, more money than Lila can count, and a secret Aunt Gracie took to her grave. All the angels in heaven won't be able to pry it out of her. For more than 80 years, generations of folks in Ditto have whispered and gossiped about what the secret could be. When Lila inherits Aunt Gracie's legacy, ears perk up and tongues start wagging as Lila reacquaints herself with locals, finds warmth in family, extended and otherwise, and cozies up to a handsome new neighbor. She begins collecting clues to the past. They're revealing an Aunt Gracie nobody knew and a life of rebellion, broken hearts, and selfless love that affected more people than anyone realized. Whatever reason Aunt Gracie had for leaving Lila the secret, will it now be Lila's secret to keep? And then the other book that I finished was Murder at the Second-Hand Shop, a small town cozy mystery series by Anna Grue. And the description for this book: in the dozy Danish provinces, death hides among the dusty bric-a-brac. The elderly volunteers at the second-hand shop keep dropping dead. Heart attacks, strokes, a simple case of old age, say the police, sad but inevitable. Newly retired Mrs. Mortensen begs to differ. This Danish Miss Marple and her dachshund, Mortensen III, sniff a sinister pattern. Sharp-tongued, sharp-eyed, and fueled by justice and cake, Mrs. Mortensen launches her own probe, stirring gossip, grudges, and small-town spats. The deeper she digs, the surer she gets someone's picking off shop volunteers, one oops at a time. Can this tea spiller out-sleuth a sly slayer before she, or Mortensen III, becomes the next accidental casualty? I give that one 4 stars. It was such a cute read. Okay, moving on into this week's first segment, unhinged comments from people on the internet. The humans came back this week and left me some beautiful comments. We have to thank Jack, who is a returning commenter, and I finally had to block him, Bree, Michaela, Robert, Carlos, and Kashua. So let's find out what these humans on the internet said to a fellow human on the internet. Jack said to me, another useless video. Bree said, don't really want to pay for free info, thanks though. Michaela told me that what I was releasing in my video was not ladybugs. I responded, what do you suppose they are? Also, I'm tagging Nature's Good Guys because they will need to hear your assumption too, as they sold me the kit of beneficial insects, which included the ladybugs. Robert has been in my DMs before, and it felt like a regular exchange of human interest towards other people's content. But then he sang to me, I have not watched the video, that's kind of scary. He sang to me karaoke and then wrote me, it's time to see if you are a romantic. Put your head on my shoulders. What would you whisper in my ear? No, sir. Oh my gosh. I messaged one of my friends and said, I think I've made it. I have my first creepy man. Carlos said, oh, some BS, instead of just stating what it is. I wrote back to Carlos, excuse me, the entire caption tells you what to add. And then Kashua says, thumbs down. She didn't like it. And since you can't thumbs down anymore, I don't think on Facebook, I don't remember. Anyways, she wrote thumbs down. And there you have it for this week's Unhinged Comments. All right, moving on into this week's Search Bar Confessions. So I got my Google on this week. I Googled custom clip flags / farm stand flag. I'm trying to put something out at the road to be like, hey, come be curious. I have a farm stand in here. So I got something on Amazon and I used it, but it wasn't what was pictured, what was supposed to be delivered. So I sent that back and now I'm trying to find another option. I might just have to have something made. I Googled museum finish drywall. And because I'm having an issue with my sheetrock company, which I completely skipped the update on the house. So the trim on my outside doors is finally done, the metal trim. We are having to fix texture on the walls. And I finally got a chance to lay out my kitchen cabinets with my cabinet maker. And so now I feel so much better about him moving forward. Okay, so back to my Googles. I Googled museum finish drywall because initially I asked for a level 4 drywall finish, which is a smooth wall. It's not level 5, but it's level 4, and there's no texture on the wall. There's not meant to be texture. So when it came time to go show my sheetrock company what room specifically I wanted this in, I didn't care that the other rooms, like, they didn't need this texture. I just wanted splatter on those, but these particular rooms, I wanted this smooth wall. And so I pointed those out and he said, oh, I think you're going to really like museum finish. And I'm like, okay, as long as it is smooth wall. I don't care what you call it. I want a level 4 smooth wall. So they finished. I didn't think they were finished. I got told they were finished and I was, first of all, heartbroken and then very angry because that's not what I asked for. So long story short, which we're going to go into in part of the business nugget, I spoke to the owner and we came to a conclusion. I guess you would not really say a conclusion. We came to a meeting of the minds to make a repair on one wall so I could see how they could fix it. And the fix wasn't good. It was just crap on top of crap. More crap on top of more crap. And I'd already Googled museum finish, and it's higher than a level 5 finish on your wall. So I was very confused. Anyways, I'm going to talk about it a little bit in the business nugget, but I also, moving back to what I Googled what makes up aspirin. Somebody told one of my customers or one of my Instagram followers to use aspirin to fix something in their garden. And I was like, what? First of all, how is aspirin beneficial? So then I had to go look up what is the quality of aspirin, what is in it, what is the chemical compounds, and then what do people think it does for a garden? And the resounding answer was it's supposed to shock your plant into thinking it's under attack. And I'm like, why would you do that? Your plant is already distressed. It's telling you because it's not doing what it's supposed to. Why would you make it worse? I re-Googled raising emotional vibration. And then I happened to see somebody say on Instagram that they watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for the 11th billionth time and realized in one of the first scenes with Charlie and his grandpa and his family members, somebody splurged to get a quote unquote chocolate bar during the golden ticket hunt. But when he's ripping it open, they're like, I've never noticed this before, but it's not the chocolate bar. It's like a marshmallow type bar, like a moon pie. And the moon pies of the Wonka products didn't have the tickets in there. And so it's she was like, I never noticed that before. And now I'm wondering, was that done on purpose or did they just totally screw up the storyline? So of course I had to go down the rabbit hole of, I don't think I ever tangibly thought, but then I was like, you know what? I just when I watched it as more of an adult, less as a kid, I was like, well, they spent money on something that they could afford. And then Charlie was just playing it off like it was a Wonka product that might have a ticket in it. And he didn't want his family to feel bad. So much to unpack. Went down a rabbit hole. Also Googled where to watch Yellowstone. I realized I never watched the early seasons of Yellowstone. I'm in one of those weird, what do I watch next kind of places in life. And so I found it. It's on Peacock right now. And I'm in season 1 and there's so much I didn't know. I didn't know there was another brother that was killed off in the first episode of the whole show. And I didn't realize that Beth was sort of responsible, not really, but that's how the show makes it out, for the death of her mom. And so anyways, lots to unpack now that I've watched the later seasons, not knowing kind of the lead up. And I Googled preserving zucchini because I'm in abundance, also squash, and also cherry tomatoes. Atmosphere temperature. I knew it was really cold, but I saw somebody say, why is it always so cold in an airplane? And I'm like, well, you have a flying vessel in the sky, super high up in the air, and it gets really cold up there. I didn't know how cold when you're cruising at, let's say, 35,000 feet. It is colder than Antarctica up there. So no wonder why airplanes are cold when they're cruising. So there you have it. Now you know. And let's see, I have been searching what garlic I'm going to be buying for my seed garlic. And then finally, I'm building a banquette, or my cabinet maker is building a banquette that is going to attach onto my island for a breakfast seating area. And I'm trying to figure out spacing and sizing and how's it going to fit with the table I want to use. So I went down that rabbit hole. And that wraps up this week's Search Bar Confessions. Okay, so let's talk about the business nugget, which is all about like a season of hard. Life is really throwing hard at me right now. And hard doesn't mean wrong. It just means hard. And I feel like it's just all piling on. I had to have a mammogram redo. So that always, gears me up, or whatever that phrase is. Everything's fine, thankfully. But that, leading up to that, and, they're quote unquote super busy. So it was like 3 weeks to wait to have a follow up. And the sheetrock business owner is a total monkey's butt. And my interactions with him as a paying customer, and I have paid a boatload of money to him already through several draws against work that's been done. And when I told my project manager that I was not happy with the supposed museum finish on the wall and said it looked like a poor attempt at stucco, it got relayed to the owner, and the owner just called me up and came at me so hot that that immediately puts me into a defense state, right? And I don't really like going there unless I really have to, and also unless it's a soapbox item for me, and then I'll go toe to toe with you. So I just sat there thinking to myself as he's berating me, how is this okay? I'm a paying customer. Like, how is this okay? I'm so baffled. And I can't be the first person to challenge your work. I can't. But if I am, how you're handling this is very, very poor. So the meeting of the minds was come out to my house, which was a total flex move. Come out to my house to see my walls that have this finish on them. And so I did, which felt really awkward. And I walked through his house, and his house is pretty, okay? But it's not my house. And I said, I don't like that I can see the imperfection in your walls. I'm not asking for that. I asked for a smooth wall. You originally quoted me level 4. He told me to my face they don't do level 4 or level 5 in new construction residential. They only do that in commercial. And so that was disappointing to hear. Why would you quote it to me if you don't offer it? And then, so the meeting of the minds was, why don't you send your crew back out to fix a wall, not the whole thing, just in case I don't like it. So they came out and quote unquote fixed it. It looks even worse, and it's not smooth. The walls just look so bad. And so I had the owner come back out to see it in person, and he showed up before me. And I think that was a move, like a choice he made. But my husband was there, and I had told my husband, hey, this is a time I'm meeting this guy. I would really like for you to be there because I know he's going to bully me again. And so my husband was already there, which really rocked him because he didn't anticipate him being there, right? He was hoping to see the wall to have a response to me prepared before I got there. Well, my husband was already there. And my husband immediately threw a light up on the wall, and that sent him into a roller coaster and had him like used car salesmaning things, and to a point where my husband just tuned him out. Like, you can't BS a BSer, right? My husband could sell you cardboard. You just can't BS a fellow BSer. So my husband tuned him out. He was telling us, oh, go ahead and get it primed and put paint on. And all I could think about was, why would I do that? If I don't like it, it's going to be even harder to fix. So he left, and we were like, okay, we'll think about that. We'll talk to our painter, blah, blah, blah. No, we're not. We're going to go find another solution. So we started researching. I found a solution. I brought him in. He only does level 4 and level 5 drywall finish. That is his bread and butter. He doesn't do anything else, and which is amazing. And he's been doing it since he was 9. So we said, okay, can I come see your work somewhere? And he was like, let me just do a test wall for you. So he has been working on 2 walls, and they are beautiful. The walls are so freaking beautiful. So we're going to hire him, which obviously is costing me more money. And so we also went through and put blue tape on where there are sheetrock issues, like even before the texture, sheetrock issues, but you don't see the sheetrock issues until they came in and tape mudded, floated, all those things. And then they laid texture straight on right after they did that, and there are sheetrock issues. So we taped them up. I messaged my project manager and I was like, hey, I don't know if you want to come out and look or if you want to send somebody out, but there are some sheetrock issues that need to be repaired before we wrap things up. And then he was like, oh, what did you decide on the texture? And I said, it's just still more crap. And I'm not happy with it, so I'm going to have to find somebody else to fix it. Okay, I understand. He reports back to the owner. The owner calls me up, comes at me hot again. Like, I should have just hung up on him. I really should have just hung up because it just didn't go anywhere good. And I still am sitting there thinking to myself, I'm a paying customer. Why would you do this? And then I started thinking to myself, I'm a general contractor. I may not be able to affect your business in this particular year, but give me 5 and I will. Because this is not how you treat people. You do not treat people like this. So we may be getting ourselves into the drywall business because this is just total BS. I'm not currently speaking to some family members, which is really not fun. I am frustrated that our roofing business has slowed down, and then my accountability partner quit on me. So, I'm just like, I feel like, how much more can life throw? And so I want to talk about hard times do not mean you are off track. I don't want you to allow your brain to make it mean something. And I feel like we do that very quickly and very easily. We assign, or we allow our brains to assign permanent meaning to hard. And it's literally just our current weather pattern that we are experiencing. It's only temporary pressure. It's not permanent meaning. So here's some things that I'm attempting to do for myself. I'm trying to shrink my days and not let the big picture feel too big or too overwhelming. So instead of letting your goals feel impossible or your dreams feel impossible or too far away, temporarily shrink your focus. What needs to happen today? Are there any income-producing activities you can tackle? Is there anything that you can do that will keep moving your needle? Something else I'm working on, choosing income-producing activities over busy work. Not focusing on the details, not focusing on making tweaks to anything to keep me busy, just producing or checking off something directly tied to making money. That could be Instagram content, responding to Facebook with my course link, emailing my farm stand customers to say, hey, this is what's available in my farm stand for the week. So what can you do that keeps you driving and producing based on what's directly tied to income and how you make it? And then, like I mentioned, you are driving still, right? You're in the driver's seat. You are deciding what income-producing activities make the most sense, but you're not allowing your emotions to drive, to take over. You can have fear and anxiety and disappointment and exhaustion all be present. Like all of that can be present. But you can also help yourself move through those emotions. Like I mentioned last week, binaural beats, using affirmations, raising your frequency of emotion, prayer, movement, get yourself outside. For me, spending time in my garden, all of these things help to not allow emotion to take over the driving. Pay attention to what you keep making hard or what you keep making harder. Are you overcomplicating anything? Is posting content, are you making that overcomplicated? Sending emails, making the ask, like actually selling, finishing your product, inviting people into your orbit, saying what you actually mean. Are you overcomplicating any of those things? Stay focused to simplify your current standards. I want you to also think about looking for evidence you can trust yourself that you can keep going. making good decisions, recovering if something doesn't work. Like, can you do that if something doesn't work out? Can you recover? Can you stay visible in this period of time? Can you trust yourself to want more without needing to prove it? I want you and me to allow this season to build depth, not just results. It's not just about what you produce externally, but also what you develop within yourself. Grit, discernment, emotional steadiness, faith, leadership, clear priorities, less tolerance for distractions, and honest desires. I personally still want results, so I am focused on how do I do that. I went out and found another accountability partner. I'm still working on my tool. I also want to not miss who I am becoming in this process, because this is part of life. So how do you handle hard when it just keeps stacking up against you? I hope you will consider doing some of these things that I am also doing in my own season. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. I'm so excited that I am about to have 11 years of podcasting in my back pocket. What a freaking amazing journey it's been. And until next week, I hope you have a great rest of this one.
And flow. Let's talk. Let's go.
And like my 3-year-old self said, that is all for this week. Friendly reminder to rate and review my show wherever you are listening. And last but not least, I'd love to hear from you. Leave me an audio message at bossgirlcreative.com/speak. I would love to hear your takeaways, ideas for upcoming episode topics, and your feedback. Thank you again for listening to this week's episode. And until next time, I hope you have a great rest of this one.